Hey everybody, welcome back to another exciting episode today. And today we're going to be talking about this new bill that was just recently proposed. So it hasn't actually been passed yet, but it is something that a lot of people have been talking about, kind of like all of the other who knows how many 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 proposed bills that have already came out, but none of them have actually been officially passed yet, well, except of course the CARES Act. So today we're going to be talking about a brand new one that recently was proposed, and this one is called the Monthly Economic Crisis Support Act. Now obviously, because there have already been so many different acts and proposals thrown all around left and right, I like to make this a more simplified version. So today I'm going to be describing this in the most simplified way possible to give it straight directly to you, and at the very end of it I'm going to give a little bit of a 1 to 2 minute insight into my personal opinion and whether or not I think this bill is going to be passed. So definitely stick around all the way to the end, and also because I'm hoping to not make this video too long anyway, so it's, should be a very easy, fun, casual watch. Anyway, if you're returning here, welcome back. I hope you're doing safe and well, and if you're a brand new person here, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. I normally make videos on personal development, but I've been making all sorts of videos about the pandemic because it has been over the news. I do talk about finance, but we're not exclusively limited to finance. I also talk about other stuff like the social impacts and anything that I find entertaining. Basically anything that's very enriching, and I think it's good because compared to like raw finance channels that talk about finance, I think what's nice is that you can learn a little bit about everything, even like the social impact, because of course money is not everything, even though it's such a big thing. And I think that it's also important to know about how this pandemic's impacting people's lives beyond just the financial side of it. So if you're interested in those kind of videos, definitely subscribe and even consider hitting the notification button, but definitely at least smash the like button because it really helps to support the channel. Okay, so let's just get this video rolling. Quick introduction and we'll just talk right about it. So anyway, the 1 sentence explanation to what exactly this act does is that if passed, it is going to provide every single person who qualifies $2,000 a month, retroactive back to March, meaning that if it's passed, you will basically get 3 times $2,000, so $6,000, and a reoccurring payment of $2,000 every single month until 3 months after the coronavirus has ended. Basically $6,000 plus $2,000 a month till the very end. In terms of who is qualified, compared to my previous video where I talk about the ABC Act, which is the Automatic Boost to Communities Act, definitely check that video out because I also offer my insight about whether or not I believe that bill is going to pass, so definitely check it out if you are interested, of course. But anyway, so for this act, the Monthly Economic Crisis Support Act, in terms of who is qualified for this act, they're basically setting the qualification based on income level. So it's a little bit different than like the previous act that I talked about, which is the ABC Act, Automatic Boost to Communities Act. If you haven't watched that video and you don't fully understand that one, definitely check out that video if you're interested, because I try to give also like a very quick explanation to what that is. But basically for this act that we're talking about right now, it's going to give almost every single person who makes under $100,000 the $2,000 per month, retroactive back to March. So basically $6,000 plus a recurring cost of $2,000 every single month if your income is below $100,000. Now, if your income is above $100,000, they're going to basically reduce that amount by 10% of the total amount per month. So basically, if let's say you make $110,000, $110,000 is $10,000 over that amount. 10% of 10,000 is 1,000. So instead, you would only be getting $1,000 per month. And so if you make up to $120,000, up to $120,000, $20,000, 10%, $2,000, you would basically get nothing if you make $120,000 or above. But honestly, if you make over $120,000, you probably don't need that money at this point. Let's be honest. But most of us basically, if you make, if you're like the most people in America and you make under $120,000, or even more specifically under $100,000, you would basically get all $2,000. Or if you make between $100,000 to $120,000, less than $2,000, but nonetheless more than $1 a month. So it's still, something. And in every single household, this is going to apply to $2,000 per person, including children up to 3 kids. So basically, if you have a household, I believe the maximum per household will be $10,000, because 2 adults is 2,000, 3 kids is 2,000 each. 2,000 times 5 is $10,000. So you guys can get basically up to $10,000, which is pretty incredible if you live in a household of 5 or more people. And so that is basically the quick and fast summary of what is this monthly economic crisis support act that's being proposed and talked about. I believe it was proposed by Kamala Harris. I hope I pronounced his first name right, even though I should know because I'm also in America. Bernie Sanders and Ed Markley. Anyway, so now that you guys have the basis for what is this monthly economic support crisis act that's being thrown around, I figured I'd just end this with my personal thoughts about it, about whether or not I think it's going to pass. And I talked a little bit about it in my last video about the Automatic Boost to Communities Act. My personal opinion, and it is a little bit similar but better, is I'll be very, very honest with you. I think, as I mentioned before, is that I do really believe that they will pass some kind of like stimulus, second round of stimulus package of some kind, because I mean, there are a lot of people that are going through difficulties right now. In fact, there's a lot of people that haven't even received their first stimulus package. So if you're in that shoe, maybe comment down below and just say I or something like that, so we know you guys exist or have your voice heard or something like that. But I'll be very honest, like in my personal opinion, I do believe, given how much talk that's been going around, that there will be some kind of second stimulus package. I mean, they've already proposed like I think 3, 4, or 5 different acts of all sorts of different proposals, like the automatic boost to communities, there's the emergency money, and now there's this act, monthly economic support. So I do believe that there will be some kind of support, but in terms of do I think that this one is going to be passed, to be very, very honest, I'm hesitant to say yes, but I don't feel like this exact one will be passed. Of course, it would be great if it did, and it would benefit every single person that's watching this video, including myself. But, I don't feel that such a thing is going to be passed, and I'm very, very hesitant to think that any kind of package at this time that includes any kind of monthly reoccurring payment, unless there's a lot of strict restrictions for it, kind of like the CARES Act, which is the first one that actually did pass, unless there was some kind of restriction to it, so like an income limit, but not 100,000, like a smaller income limit or an age limit of some kind. I actually find it difficult that I think it's going to pass, only because just purely based off of the fact of, if you really do the math, how expensive such a thing would be to be able to offer to all the Americans. Now, granted, I will say this, it's probably a lot more likely, I will say, than the ABC Act, which is the one I talked about last time, only because there are a lot more restrictions, because the ABC Act was something that was supposed to apply to almost every single American, even non-Americans, so as in even people that aren't even citizens of America were supposed to receive that, or even American citizens who aren't even in America anymore, American citizens who could just live abroad in other countries. I think that the odds of having this act pass is much, much higher than a lot of the other acts that are being proposed, but I still would be hesitant to think that it will definitely be passed. In my personal opinion, I still believe that some act will be passed, but I believe that it'll probably be maybe a version of this act tweaked down a little bit with a little bit more restrictions, just purely based off of the financial aspect of it. So the answer to to really sum it up is yes, I still believe in a second stimulus package. I do believe that this act is more likely to be passed than a lot of the other acts that have been proposed, but I would still hesitate to think that this actual plan that they're currently proposing, the $2,000 rolling back since March, so $6,000 plus $2,000 a month until 3 months after this pandemic situation ends, would still be a little bit hesitant to think it's going to happen, but really, who really knows, right? So hopefully this gave you guys some insight, if this helped you, or if, maybe comment down your opinion about whether or not you guys think it's going to pass, and then maybe we can roll into the future to see how well or how not well, or how well this video / comment / everyone's comment ages into the future, we'll see from here. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. Anyway, stay safe, stay well, and until the next episode, which I'm gonna actually make a new episode probably in just a couple of days likely. So definitely stick around for more videos, not just about finance, but even about the social impact of this pandemic, and really just anything in general, because my channel is centered around on personal development. So I think it might, give you guys a little bit of a break compared to a lot of the true dedicated finance channels where you're kind of just thrown all sorts of different topics about money. I think this channel might be a little bit more of a balance, which I think is really going to be nice for a much wider target audience. And so once again, smash the like button if you haven't done so already, and consider subscribing and hitting the bell notification in particular if you really want to get notified of each of these videos. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, stay safe, stay well, and see you guys in a couple of days.